Welcome to episode 2 of Monday's Musings. When I first posted this photo to my Instagram feed and Visit Tell You I picked it up, I never would have thought that it would gotten over 4,100 likes. And then they shared with me some usage data, and it's actually been viewed over 64,800 times. And just put in perspective, that's the population of Grand Junction. So in this episode, we will look a little bit of the behind the scenes. When I took this photo on my phone, and then we will dive right into how I transformed it from this into this using a program called Snapseed. So if you've ever been curious about the pixel dust that I use, this episode is for you. Enjoy. Alright, let's jump right into episode 2, Bicycle Pixel Dust. Let's start this discussion off with a little bit behind the scenes. This is the next morning after filming this black bear, this pretty big black bear the previous evening. And after processing a bunch of videos and stuff, I wasn't really in the mood to take photographs that next morning. I had to get up early, about 6:23 that next morning, and that's when I took that photo on the left. And that's going to be the discussion point of how I processed it, added pixel dust, if you will. I use a application on my phone called Snapseed, and this program is free, and it can be found on both the Android Play Store and the Apple Play Store as well. I almost exclusively use that to process my photos. So the first discussion is going to be composition. So I'm bringing up the crop tool in Snapseed, which has the third guidelines on the photo. And what I want to kind of show here is, notice how I'm a big fan of the perspective, like right in the center of this photo. You can almost see the vanishing point. And also on the left third guideline is the steeple, and so that really kind of gives it a nice pleasing composition in my eye. You notice a lot of my photos have these vanishing perspective lines. And then after we cropped it, some of the first things I usually do is just experiment with is I add some drama. And notice the drama, when I'm adjusting this drama, it's changing, giving more pop to the clouds. And so I applied a little bit of drama to it. And then the next thing I did was experiment with HDR settings. And you have to be careful with these settings because sometimes it can be overdone, but I applied a little bit of HDR to it. And then sometimes I go directly to black and white, so I just use the preset black and white here in Snapseed. And then the next thing I did was I adjusted some of the shadows and the highlights. I brought up the highlights so the whites of the tires really kind of stand out, and then drop down the shadows a little bit, and also drop down the ambiance so it's not too stark. And then one of the tricks I do is adding a vignette, but not put it in the very middle, and that really kind of shows the lighter objects are in front and then the ones in the back. And now this is just showing the back and forth. So that was pretty much the extent of my Snapseed pixel dust. I hope you enjoyed. Well, I like to close this episode with an answer to a question I get. So where can I purchase one of your images? And the answer to that is I have a website called micromallorymedia.com. And if you're just going here without a particular image in mind, you might just browse to best of the best. And this contains some of my my best images. Or let's say you want to filter just on Telluride. There is that filter as well, along with a lot of other discovery of any photo essentially that I've been sharing over the many years. But let's just go back to our photo that we were discussing, the bicycle one. And so there's an overlay called By Photo, and then you just click that. You can go, all different types of media, anything from like metal prints even, or if you just want a standard paper print, we can go here as well. Let's just say we want the 8x12, and it will crop based on that size. And then you just go in like any other e-commerce site, just add to cart, and then you go to view the shopping cart. And to reward all the people that stick to the end of this podcast, I am having a promotion. M5 episode 2 is the coupon code, and that will give you 30% off of your final checkout. So hopefully that will answer your questions, but if not, reach out to me at micromallorymedia@gmail.com. And I will see you next Monday. Cheers. Bye.